Shalom, shalom. This is Brother Yoel from the Israelite Bible Study Group, and welcome to another Bible study lesson. I want to say happy Sabbath to all Israel, and also, like I said, this today's Bible study lesson is going to be called Saved by Grace. And let's not waste no time. Let's just jump right into it. In today's Bible study lesson, we will be looking at the saved by grace claim of the Christian religion, and we will be testing that claim to see if it is the truth from the Most High God of Israel, the great I am, the creator of heaven and earth and everything in it. Okay? So let's see if he says that Christians are saved by grace, or let's see if this statement is just another big fat Christian lie from Lucifer's writings. And when I say Lucifer, make no mistake about it, I am speaking of Jesus Christ, aka Lucifer. Okay? So let's go to Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 1. That's where we're going to start off at, right there. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 1. And we're reading from the King James Version of the Bible, okay? Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 1. And you have he quickened, who were dead in sin, who were dead in trespasses and in sins. So when the New Testament, which is to say Lucifer's writings, use the word quicken, it is speaking of some BS, spiritual revitalization, okay? It is saying that you were dead spiritually, and now somehow Jesus, aka Lucifer, aka Christ crucified, has somehow made you spiritually alive again, okay? But you are still going to die physically, which is stupid, okay? So you still have to die, even though Jesus said out of his own mouth that if you believe in him, you will never die, okay? So he's saying from the moment that you believe in him, you will never die. So we know that was a lie when he said it, because people still die every single day. We see Christians dying. We see Christian funerals and everything. But he said from the moment that you believe in him, you will never die. And he said that you will quicken spiritually. Because many Christians still die every day, and they believe in Jesus, aka Lucifer, and they love Lucifer, aka Jesus Christ, but they still die. And Christians, they still continue to believe in the lie, okay? Let's pause here for a second. Let's go to John chapter 11, and let's see where Jesus said that Jesus, aka Lucifer, said that if you from the time that you believe in him, you will never die. And then we'll come right back to Ephesians. John chapter 11, let's pick it up in verse 26. And Jesus said, who said it? Jesus said, and whosoever liveth, see that? If you living and believe in me. So Jesus is saying, if you living, if you are alive and you believe in him, Jesus said that you will never die. And then he asks, do you believe this? My answer to that is no, I don't believe that. So let's get that again. John chapter 11 and verse 26. And Jesus said, and whosoever liveth and believe in me shall never, what does never mean? Never die. Believest thou this? No, I don't believe in this. Only a fool will believe in that, okay? Because you know you're going to die. He said, from the time that you believe in him, you will never die. I have family members who believed in him. They still died. Okay? They still died. So how can he say, if you believe, from the time that if you live in and you believe in him, you will never die? So no, I don't believe in that. Let's go back to Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 1. And you has he quickened, who were dead in trespasses and sins. So from the definition of the word quicken, one of the meanings of that word quicken is to give life or to restore life, okay? So now let's look at some of the synonyms of the word quicken so that we can understand what is being said here, okay? So some of the synonyms of the word quicken is to do what? Is to excite, stir up, arouse, rouse, waken, animate, activate, incite, galvanize, instigate, wet, inspire, kindle, fan, refresh, strengthen, invigorate, reanimate, reactivate, revive, revitalize, resuscitate, and revivify. Those are some of the synonyms of the word quicken, okay? From the dictionary that's online, okay? So let's go back to Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 1. And you has he quickened, who were dead in trespasses and sins. So they are speaking of some kind of spiritual quickening, which has nothing to do with the Most High God and his people, okay? The Hebrew Israelites. Because our salvation is not a spiritual quickening. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, our salvation is not a spiritual quickening. Okay? It is a literal deliverance from our enemies. Not some stupid spiritual quickening while we are still under the foot of our enemies. Okay? That ain't no salvation. And if it is salvation, I personally don't want any part of that kind of salvation. Okay? I want the salvation like the Most High did in the first Egypt, when he destroyed our enemies and delivered our people from them. The Most High didn't save Israel with their enemies. The Most High saved Israel from their enemies, okay? So now let's get back to the retarded salvation of the Christians, okay? Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 2. Wherein time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience, So the Christians, the Gentiles, and the heathens are still in the same condition. They still have a spirit of disobedience on them, because the Most High God said, you should have no other God before me. And what are they doing? They're having another God before him. Okay? So they still in this spirit of disobedience. Their condition hasn't changed. The Christians, the Gentiles, and the heathens are still in the same condition, because Jesus Christ, by his own admission, said that he can't do nothing of his own self. He said if the Most High don't give him permission, aka the power to do a thing, then that thing can't be done. Well, the Most High never told Jesus, aka Lucifer, to quicken Christians. Okay? If he did, then where's the commandment that he told him that? He didn't. He never told him that. To quicken Christians or to save Christians. So it can't be done. So why are all those Christians believing in lies? You can see right here, it can't be done. Paul is lying when he say that he quickened. Okay? Jesus, aka Lucifer, ain't quickened nobody. Okay? That is another big fat Christian lie, because Jesus, aka Lucifer, aka Christ crucified, died himself. Okay? That's why he's called Christ crucified. He died himself, supposedly. And when the Most High God delivered Israel from the hand of the Egyptians the first time, he didn't die in order to deliver our forefathers. Okay? The Most High didn't die to deliver our forefathers. He just destroyed their enemies and delivered them from the hand of their enemies. Okay? Jesus supposedly is the same as the Father. So how come he had to die? But when the Most High delivered our forefathers, he didn't die in order to deliver them. He just destroyed their enemies and delivered them. Okay? Again, when the Most High God delivered Lot from Sodom and Gomorrah, he didn't die in order to deliver him. He just burnt those cities up and delivered Lot and his daughters. Okay? Also, when the Most High God delivered Noah and his family, again, the Most High God didn't get beaten, and the Most High God didn't die in order to deliver Noah. He just sent a flood upon the earth and destroyed the Nephilim, the cattle, the people, the other people, and delivered Noah and his family. But Jesus, aka Lucifer, said in his writings that he and the Father are the same. How can that be? He's not doing nothing that the Father said, okay, that the Father does. The Father, when he delivered people, he don't die, he kill. He do the killing, okay? So Lucifer, aka Jesus said that I and my Father are one. If you have seen me, you have seen the Father. That's what he said. Yet he don't do anything that the Most High God of Israel does. So I have a question. Who is his father? Because the Most High God can't be his father, because he don't do nothing that the Most High God does. So how can he say he's just like the Father? He must be talking about another Father, okay? He said that all power is given unto him in heaven and in earth. How can that be? And he still got beat down half to death, okay? How can he have all power in heaven and earth and still get beat down? That don't make no sense. Okay? That don't make no sense at all. Christians, all of y'all are believing in stupidity and lies. And when I say all Christians, I mean all Christians. All the Christians. All the Christian churches and all the Christian camps who have Christ in the name of their organization. Y'all still Christians. Y'all ain't no Israelites. Y'all Christians who say Christ is the Son of God and who say Jesus Christ, aka Lucifer, died for their sins. All of y'all are believing in lies. Y'all need to go back and read it again, because y'all believing in lies. Because Christ didn't die for nobody's sins. He can't die for nobody's sins. And we'll continue to prove that as we do these videos, okay? Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 2 again. Where in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. And y'all believing in Christ, Jesus, aka Lucifer, y'all are walking in the spirit of disobedience right now. So nothing changed in your condition. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 3. Among whom also we all had our conversation in time past in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath. You still the children of wrath. All Christians are still the children of the Most High God's wrath. All of y'all. The Christian churches and the Christian camps. Y'all are still the children of the Most High God's wrath. Even as others. Even as the other Gentiles, the heathens, aka the cattle. Okay? Or the beasts of the earth. And we talking about, when I say cattle, I'm talking about cattle that's walking upright, 2 hands, 2 legs, and thinking they're human. That's the cattle I'm talking about, okay? Let's go back to Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 1 again. And you has he quickened who were dead in trespasses and in sins. Verse 2. Wherein time past you walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Verse 3. Among whom also we had our conversation in time past in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, were by nature the children of wrath, even as others, as the other Gentiles or non-Hebrew Israelites. Okay? Verse 4. But God, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he loved us. That is a lie. Never, not even one time in the scriptures, Old or New Testament, did the Most High God, not man, the Most High God said that he loved Christians. Never. He never said that. Okay? So that is another big, fat Christian lie. The Most High God said that he loved Israel, not Christians. Y'all believing in lies. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 5. Even when ye were dead in sins has quickened us together. Even when we, let me read that again, Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 5. Even when we were dead in sins, has quickened us together with Christ. You see that? With Christ. So you know that's a lie. No, he didn't. By grace ye are saved. No, you are not. That is a big fat Christian lie. Christians are not saved by grace. That is a lie. Let's get the definition of grace. The grace definition in the Christian belief, this is the online dictionary. It says, in Christian belief, grace is the free and unmerited favor of God, as manifested in the salvation of sinners and the bestowal of blessings. So let's look at the synonyms of the word grace: favor, goodwill, generosity, kindness, etc. Unmerited definition. Let's get unmerited definition. Definition of unmerited means not adequately earned or deserved, not merited. So the Most High God never made a promise to Christians or to any other nation other than Israel to save them. So how can Christians say that they're saved by grace? That is a lie. Let's go to Amos chapter 3 and verse 2. You only, he's talking to Israel, not Christians. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities, Israel, not Christians. And the Most High God has punished us for our iniquities. We have suffered great oppression in America and throughout this earth. And I'm talking about the children of Israel, the Israelites, not Christians. We went into bondage on cargo slave ships. We went into slavery in America, aka the New Egypt. We have suffered many atrocities and diseases and sicknesses and poverty and drug addiction, etc. Okay? We were being killed by police officers. Our babies being aborted. Our babies being fed to alligators. Our children being lied to in the educational system. Our children also being lied to, all of our people being lied to in those Christian churches and those Christian camps, and many other things that we have suffered. We have suffered affliction from our enemies, the so-called white people, but not them only. But even when our forefathers were in the time of the first Egyptian captivity, the Most High God brought the plagues upon Egypt, and the Most High God protected our people from those plagues. He didn't save the Israelites with the Egyptians, and He's not going to save us in this new Egypt. The Egyptians, the Americans, or whatever, they want to call themselves. The Most High God is not going to save us with America. The Most High God is going to deliver us, and He is going to judge America. Okay? Let's see what He did in the first Egypt, so we can understand what He's going to do in this new Egypt. Okay? Let's go back to Exodus chapter 9 and verse 22. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch forth thy hand toward heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, upon man and upon beast, and upon every herb of the field throughout the land of Egypt. Verse 23. And Moses stretched forth his rod toward heaven, and the Lord sent thunder and hail and fire ran upon the ground, and the Lord rained hail upon the land of Egypt. Verse 24. So there was hail and fire mingled with hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation. Verse 25. And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and beast, and the hail smote every herb of the field, and break every tree of the field. Verse 26. Only, listen closely, only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, not Christians, where the children of Israel were, not a heathen, where the children of Israel were, not Gentiles, where the children of Israel were, only was there no hell. So you can see clearly, only Israel was saved from those plagues, and only Israel is going to be saved in this time. So y'all Christians are liars. But let's see what the Most High God says to us, his children, the Hebrew Israelites, not Christians, not Gentiles, but the Hebrew Israelites only. Let's see what he said to us. Let's go to, Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7, and let's pick it up in verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Meaning over you Christians, y'all gonna die. Okay? Because this is the Most High speaking to Israel only. Verse 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 7. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. Let's get verse 8. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 8. But because the Lord loved you, and read that again. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 8. But because the Lord loved you, Israel, and because he would keep the oath which he has sworn unto your fathers. What fathers are that? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He made promises to them, not to no Christians. Has the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you. Y'all say Jesus is your redeemer, but the Most High is our redeemer, okay? And redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him. Not Jesus. Him. Not Lucifer. Him. And keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 10. And repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He going to destroy y'all Christians. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. Y'all ain't saved by no grace. That's a lie. So how can Christians say that they are saved by grace? They can't. The Most High God said that the Gentiles are a drop of a bucket. They mean absolutely nothing to him. So let's see when the Most High God promised to Israel only, and also when he actually saved Israel, okay, in the old times. Because the Most High God saved Israel from that first Egyptian captivity, and then we will document when the Most High God said that he will cause our people to go back into Egyptian captivity if we disobey his laws and stuff, okay? So let me say that again. The Most High God said that we will go back into Egyptian bondage and captivity again in a new Egypt with ships. And the Most High God promised to deliver us from that new Egypt. This one that we're in right now. He promised that we will go back into it, but then he promised also that he will deliver us from this new Egypt, this new Egyptian bondage as well as he did the first one, okay? He made no such promise to Christians or Gentiles or heathens or non-Hebrew Israelites, only to Israel, okay? So y'all can't say y'all saved by grace. Paul is a liar. Let's go to Genesis chapter 15. Let's get the covenant, okay? Genesis chapter 15 and verse 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Verse 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance. Let's leave it right there. With great substance. You hear that? Now let's see when our people went into a land that was not theirs. Okay, let's go to Exodus chapter 1. Let's pick it up in verse 8. Now they were in Egypt. You know all the story. Y'all got to read some of this because there's a lot of reading. So you got to do some reading yourself. I'm picking up the main parts, but you read the whole chapters of whatever I read, okay? Like I read Genesis 15. I read a few verses there. Read the whole chapter, okay? And Exodus 1, read the whole chapter. Excuse me. So let's go to Exodus chapter 1 and verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them. And that's what the American, in this new Egypt captivity, they're doing the same thing, dealing wisely with us, changing all these laws and making, police officers can kill you and they get off with pay, and then they ease them right back into their job and everything. Let's go to Exodus chapter 1 and verse 10 again. Now, come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them out of the land. Verse 11. Therefore did they set taskmasters to afflict them. You hear that? Afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses. And the same thing. When we were slaves here in America, we built all of these different places up for them. Okay? Free labor. We built the White House and everything. Okay? Yeah. Exodus chapter 1 and verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. Verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. Verse 14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar, and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All, same thing, they made us serve cotton and all that in the field, right? All their service wherein they were made was to serve was with rigor. Same thing. America got the blueprint from Egypt. America is the new Egypt. Okay? And all you have to do is look on the back of the $1 bill and you'll see an Egyptian pyramid right there. Okay? And also look at many of the other ancient Egyptian symbols in America. And look at the Christian religion. That is nothing but a religion that come right out of Egypt. Okay? Sun worship and all of the different things that they worship. Okay? The whole religion ain't nothing but an Egyptian religion. Let's go to Exodus chapter 3. Let's pick it up in verse 1. So Christians are not saved by grace, they lying. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 1. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. Verse 2. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. Verse 3. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. Verse 4. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. Verse 5. And he said, Draw not nigh hither. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. Not Jesus, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Not Lucifer, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. Verse 7. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people. Not Christians, my people, the children of Israel, which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrow. Again, even in the second Egypt, here in America, the Most High God knows the things that we are suffering from. He knows our sorrows. He knows what our taskmasters have put on us. He knows what they're doing behind the scenes, the things that we can't see, because the Most High God is the one who moved them to put those things on us, okay? As a punishment to us for our disobedience and our rebellion against him. And just as he delivered our forefathers out of the bondage and out of the affliction of the first Egypt and led them into the promised land, so again the Most High, our God, is going to deliver us from all, over this earth, from all the places, all those places where our people are, and lead our people out of this second Egypt and into the promised land again. And that is real salvation. That is being saved by grace. Not this spiritual revitalization garbage. Okay? It's not a spiritual salvation. Not no spiritual salvation garbage, like I said, that the Christians keep talking about. But we are going to be saved physically from these lands, okay? In Christianity and in the New Testament, they say that there is no other name given under heaven that they can be saved. Okay? So the Most High God ain't saving them because they said there ain't no other name. The Most High God can't save them. They said the only one that can save them is Jesus. So they said there's no other name given under heaven that they can be saved but the name of Jesus, aka Lucifer, letting us know that that Hebrew Israelites are separated from Christians. Okay, so if you're a Christian and you saying that there's no other name given, then yeah, you are separated from us because we don't say that. We Israelites, the Most High God is the only one that can save us, not Jesus. Okay, Christians, because Jesus is not our Savior. Okay, matter of fact, He have no power. He can't save nothing or nobody. He said himself that he only can get power from the Most High God. If the Most High God, he said, I can do nothing of myself. Okay? Exodus chapter 3 and verse 8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians. So let's get the definition for deliver. Deliver definition. In the Strong's Concordance, it is H5337. It is nasal, okay? A primitive root, to snatch away, whether in a good or a bad sense. At all, defend, deliver, self, escape, without fail, part, pluck, preserve, recover, rescue, rid, save. You see that? Save, spoil, strip, surely take out. So the Most High going to take us out of these lands and to bring us back to our land. Okay. Christians saying that they saved, they say they saved right now. Right now they're talking about they saved. Because they're saying it's a spiritual thing, but we're not talking about no spiritual thing. We're talking about the real deal. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them out of the land, out of that land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto a place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, or the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Verse 9. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Okay? Same thing. We are oppressed in this new Egypt. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 10. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Not Christians. The Most High God gave Moses some powerful signs to perform in the sight of Pharaoh and the Egyptians so that they would let Israel go from them. So let's skip down to verse 19. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 19. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go. No, not by a mighty hand. So it is the same thing today. We are not going to be delivered or saved by anything or anyone else, but only by the mighty hand of the Most High our God. Not Jesus, aka Lucifer, because he said he can't do nothing. Okay? No other man will be able to deliver us or save us but the Most High God only, the mighty hand of the Most High God. So let's read that again. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 19. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go. No, not by a mighty hand. Verse 20. I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof. And after that, he will let you go. Verse 21. And I will give this people favor. You see that? Favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Let's get the definition for the word favor in the Strong's Concordance. It is Cain. From H2603, graciousness. See, we are the people that's saved by grace, not Christians. Graciousness. That is subjectively kindness, favor, or objectively beauty, favor. Gracious. Grace or gracious, pleasant, precious, well favored. So the children of Israel are the ones who are saved by grace, not Christians. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 21. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians and it shall come to pass that when ye go, ye shall not go empty. Verse 22. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 22. But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor and of her that sojourneth in her house jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And ye shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters. And ye shall spoil the Egyptians. And what I'm going to do is, this is going to be a two-part study. So I'm going to end right there. But let me first tell you what spoil means. Spoil in America and in the Western world, they say spoil is when you give your kid everything, and they say, oh, he's just that kid is just spoiled. But spoil don't mean that in this verse right here. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 22. Spoil mean you're going to take everything from them. Okay? So when he said we're going to spoil the Egyptians, they ain't going to have everything. They're going to have nothing. Okay? But with that, I'm going to end this study end this first part right here, and then just be on the lookout for part 2, because we're going to bring part 2. I just don't want to make this too long, okay? So with that, I'm going to say until the next video, shalom.